Discussion and possible action regarding ordinance 2011-06, modifying the speed limits on Tom Darlington Drive and Cave Creek Road pursuant to recommendations from the EMS Group Incorporated Speed Limit Study. This is the second reading, and the council may choose to take action on this agenda item. Welcome back, Mr. Basha. It's always good to see you. Thank you.
Always good to be here. Thank you very much, Mayor. Members of the council, nice to meet you all. Thank you. As Gary mentioned, my name is Paul Basha. I'm a consultant traffic engineer. The state law requires that an engineering and traffic investigation be accomplished by a local authority to change speed limits on the street. The document that we use in this country is called the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices. It's published by the United States Department of Transportation. It prescribes specific criteria and in fact uses the same language as the Arizona state law. The general purpose of the speed limit is to promote uniform speeds. The worst type of situations on highways relative to speeds is when there's a great disparity between some people driving quite fast and other people driving quite slow. When we completed the transportation plan for Carefree, we discovered that there were streets where there was a great discrepancy in travel speeds, and two of those streets were Cave Creek Road on the north side of town center, and then Tom Darlington on the west side of the town center. In my experience when I was the traffic engineer for the city of Scottsdale, on several occasions we raised the speed limit and travel speeds decreased. Seems to be an aspect of our culture that we tend to be a bit disobedient. And if we see a speed limit sign that we think is very unreasonable, we tend to ignore it completely. If we see a speed limit sign that's more reasonable, we slow down. And we're at least close to the speed limit, if not under the speed limit. We're recommending 30 miles per hour on Cave Creek Road adjacent to the town center, 30 miles per hour on Tom Darlington from Cave Creek Road to Carefree Drive, and then 35 miles per hour on Tom Darlington south of Carefree Drive to Bloody Basin, and then south of Bloody Basin it's already 35 miles per hour.
It's just a matter of tweaking which way you want to go or the other. And I'm not sure why the manual on uniform traffic control devices suggests that you go up to the next highest number as opposed to going down, which I think going down means a safety factor.
Because we're looking at $300 expenditure, is that correct, for the sign change?
Yes.
$350. Paul, you're recommending that this will enhance pedestrian safety by going to 30 miles per hour. The traffic calming study seems to make sense to me. So for those points, I'm in support of increasing the speed limit to 30 miles per hour.
We can change this now. It's just a matter of 8 signs, $350. We can do the study in 6 months, see what the travel speeds are, and then go from there.
Safety of our citizens has to be priority. I'm not in favor of raising the speed limit.
Councilman Saltzman.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting twist on this because, and I get everyone who's saying, you know, safety of our citizens and keep it 25, but that's a disconnect. Because I'm hearing that the safer thing to do for our citizens is to raise it to 30. It's counterintuitive. It sure doesn't sound good. You know, you say that to people, no, if you don't care about us, you're raising the speed limits. It's like, no, I'm listening to an expert. I don't know this stuff. It's made logical as heck to me, but that's why they get the big bucks, you know? And if they say the safer thing to do is this, then am I really doing the safest thing by sticking with 25? And I just empirical evidence, I can sort of see the thing where if you see a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, heck of it. And if you see 30, you go, all right, maybe 32, you know. So I guess what I'm suggesting is, let's not disconnect between doing what we say we want to do, which is being safe for everybody, and saying that we think we know that 25 as a posted limit is safer than 30. And the other flips, the final part of this is an experimental process. If we try 30, come back in 6 months or a year and see that the traffic study showed, oh, people are doing 45, and back to 25 it goes. Well, we could come back and find, hey, it did slow it down. So that, the only reason I favor it is to say, let's try it and see what happens. If we don't like it, I'll go to science.
Excellent point.
I asked 6 of the deputies to work Carefree all the time, 4 of which have been up here between 8 and 10 years. Every one of them supported going from 25 to 30 in that area. No reservations whatsoever.
I think that we should raise this for 2 reasons. One, it is counterintuitive, but the idea to me that's most important is to have consistent speed. I've worked with Mr. Basha for a number of years, and one of the things I've learned from him, and I've also read in the national press, is that if people are traveling close to the same speed limit, that's a good thing. Having crossed the crosswalks here, the most dangerous thing is when you step out and you think the person's coming at a certain speed and you find out they're going much over that. So I think that's the more dangerous situation. Finally, I concur with other people who said we should try this experiment. The cost of failure here to the town is about $300. We keep the signs. If they don't work, we can change it back and we can do it quickly. If it turns out to be a total disaster, I can simply declare an emergency, change the thing back in a week if it turns out badly, and I'm quite willing to do that. So I support changing this. I think it's a good thing to try, and if it turns out we made a bad decision, it's a decision that's inexpensive to fix and something that can be done quickly.
I'll make a motion, Mayor, regarding ordinance 2011-06, modifying the speed limits in the town of Darlington and Cave Creek Road, pursuant to the recommendations from the EMS Group, Inc., speed limit study, second reading.
Your motion is to approve ordinance 2011-06.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 2011-06. A vote aye would approve this ordinance and raise the speed limit. A vote nay would be not to approve this ordinance, and the speed limit would stay at 25. Ms. Wise, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Councilman Farrar,
Yes.
Councilman Jimson,
No?
Councilman Van Allen,
Yes.
Councilman Saltzman,
Yes.
Councilman Miller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Price,
No.
Mayor Schwan.
Yes.
We have 5 in favor, 2 against. The motion carries.